So, good morning ma'am, good morning classmates. So, this is my topic, K considerations for site selection. So, there are 11 K considerations for site selection. So, first is define your reason or purpose for situating your plan in the site. This should be the first factor to put into consideration when choosing a site for any type of plan or construction. You must be able to clearly define your aims and objectives for wanting the site. So, isa ni siya sa mga factor nga need nimo i-consider when it comes to like choosing a site. Kailangan jud nimo mag-set og goals and objectives. Kung unsa jud ang imong gusto mahitabo or kalabasan sa imuhang napili nga site. Second, location and accessibility. Access the site's proximity to the road, highway, transportation system, airport, and other infrastructure that will help to ease things for the purpose building occupants. So, kung makakita na ka og location, so, syempre, first thing na imong buhaton is to check the information like kung okay ba ang area tukuran, and aside from that, i-check sad nimo kung dali ra ba siya ma-access sa Google Map. So, number 3, access to utility and raw materials. For any construction or building projects to be successful, it must be done in a place where there is easy access to infrastructure and utilities. There should be electricity, water supply, healthcare, shopping mall, good waste disposal system, and so on. So in order for you to build a project to be successful, so kailangan dito jud ka sa place nga dali ra ka maka-access when it comes to infrastructure and utilities, like naay kuryente, naay saktong tubig, and duol rag mga establishment nga pwede nimo kakuhaan or kapalitan og mga materials nga kailanganon sa imuhang site. And then number 4, knowing your competitors. If a commercial building is what you're planning in the site, you need to study the locality and know those who will likely be your competitors. This will help you to properly strategize your planning to make you have an edge over them. So, for example, magtukod ko og restaurant. So, una na akong studihan is kung kinsa tong akong mga competitors o unsa tong mga wala sa ilaha nga pwede na akong ma-offer. So, mangita jud kog strategy para makahimo kog plan nga ma-attract ang mga tao. So, bale, mao na to ako ang edge or advantage sa ilaha. So, number 5, study the building or land surrounding the site. The surrounding land and or building can adversely affect your planning if proper care is not taken. Therefore, you must be endeavor to thoroughly study the buildings or land that surrounds your site. If the building is too high, it can affect ventilation and obstruct sunlight during the course of your planning. Similarly, if the site is adversely affect your planning. So, kailangan nimo magplano kung unsaon nimo siya para ma-prevent ang mga ingon-aning mga factors para maiwasan ang negative effects sa imong site. So, number 6, landscape, size, shape, and topography. These 4 factors must be thoroughly considered. Knowing the size and shape will enable to effectively get a plan that fits perfectly. The size of the site should be able to give room for future extension, and the shape should be even and devoid of any sharp corners. So, i-check sa jud nimo ang situation sa yuta and then ang size o shape kung unsa siya kalapara. So, mas okay jud na pantay ang yuta na imong tukuran para wala siya mahitabo nga negative effect if mahuman na nimo imong gi-construct. So, number 7, security, and the nature of the neighborhood. The protection of lives and properties is very crucial in any residential area. Therefore, this factor must not be taken with levity. Do your findings of the security system available within the site and its environs before you begin anything. So this is one of the essential factors that we need to be considered in selecting a site. So syempre unahon jud nato atong safety. Kailangan secure ta ana nga area, layo sa mga toxic people ana. Number 8, law and finance. After garnering enough information about the site and its environment, endeavor to make findings of the law activities or operating in the location. So there are places where laws are made by the government on the limitations a site should have. These limitations could include the vacant space, that must be left in the front and sides of the site, the proportion of the plot that should be built on, and the required height of the building that must be erected. Learning the laws and following them effectively will save you from having any problem with the government. So if you comprehend the laws and strictly adhere to them, you won't run into any problems with the government. So also, you must be able to determine the cost of everything, especially the ones for the sites, utilities, and other payments that you might likely incur in the future. Be sure that every cost of your payment is in line with your budget so that you don't end up becoming bankrupt. So after nimo ma-check ang tanang information when it comes to finance, kailangan ka maglaan og enough budget para ma-sure nimo nga tama ang imuhang gibayad na sa kana nga gastuanan. So number 9, different types of soil can be situated in a particular site. Hence, you must pay inadequate attention to the soil that is obtainable or on your site and determine if it's ideal for construction. You don't want to end up with a crack or faulty building as a result of the soil type used for the foundation. Therefore, get to know the safe load-bearing capacity of the soil to be able to design a foundation and structural system that will work efficiently and effectively. Whether the soil on your site is clay, sandy, rocky, and marshy, you will be able to use it to your advantage if you determine the components and capacities. So number 10, weather condition. Every location has a weather condition peculiar to it. You must determine the weather condition of your site before starting any plan. If there are any natural disaster like earthquakes, hurricanes, or volcanic eruptions, you must endeavor to know them, to know what is at stake before going further. So as we all know, maka-experience man jud ta og mga lahi-lahi nga weather condition. So i-check sa jud nato ang condition sa panahon before ta magplano nya. Kung naay mga calamities nga moabot, at least aware na ta kung dapat pa bang ipadayon ang sugdan. So number 11, the gift of nature offers value and aesthetics to a site when it's properly utilized. There must be unhindered access to natural light and air wherever the site is situated. Determine the direction of the wind and construct a climatologically responsive building that the inhabitants will find comfortable. The natural vegetation around the site, like plants, trees, and flowers, can be used to improve the site's value and beauty if the site planner is aesthetically inclined in making a design and will be harmonious with nature. So, instead of cutting trees, so himuon na lang nato siya og advantage ang kanang mga kahoy sa atong sa palibot sa atong site. So, instead of cutting, designan na lang nato siya, hinluan atong palibot, and then magtanom ta og bulak, mga flowers, para kuan sad siya kanang dungag sa kanang pleasant gani siya sa mata sa mga tao, para makaingon jud ang mga tao sa imuhang area nga eco-friendly jud imong area. And then as a whole, kailangan jud nimo ni i-consider kining 11K factors in selecting a site. So, designing the perfect plan for your building or construction will be easier and more directional if you select the right site for it. For you to do that successfully, the above factors should be put into consideration. So, that's all for my report. Let's proceed to the next reporter. Thank you po.